The story of Kanye West does not rise smoothly. It stumbles. It hesitates. It runs into walls that refuse to move. By the early 2000s, Kanye had done something many people only dream of. He had made a name for himself as a producer. His beats were being used by artists with real recognition. His sound was being heard on major projects. His style was becoming familiar in rooms that once ignored him. But there was a quiet frustration growing inside him. Because no matter how good his production became, people still saw him the same way. The guy behind the music, not the voice in front of it. Kanye believed he was more than that. He wasn't just creating sounds for others. He was writing his own words, recording his own songs, building stories from his own life. But when he told industry executives that he wanted to be a rapper, the response was often polite and dismissive. "You're a great producer. Stick to that." Those words followed him from office to office, from meeting to meeting. Doors opened just enough for him to walk in, but not enough for him to step forward. Kanye would sit in conference rooms playing his own songs for people who had already decided what role he was supposed to play. He could see it in their faces, the hesitation, the doubt, the quiet judgment. To them, he didn't look like a star. He didn't sound like what they expected a rapper to sound like. He didn't fit the image they were used to selling. And in an industry built on image as much as sound, that mattered. But Kanye refused to disappear into the background. He kept recording, kept writing, kept performing wherever someone would let him. Small shows, private gatherings, industry events where he would step up with a microphone even when nobody asked him to. Sometimes the room would go quiet. Sometimes people would talk over his music. Sometimes he would walk off stage unsure if he had been heard at all. But he showed up again the next day, and the next. Behind that persistence was the same voice that had guided him since childhood. His mother's voice, telling him he didn't have to wait for permission to believe in himself. Kanye's struggle wasn't just about talent. It was about identity. The industry had already labeled him producer, and once a label sticks, it becomes hard to peel off. He was fighting not just for a chance to rap, but for the right to define who he was. During this time, his music began to reflect that battle. His lyrics talked about confidence and rejection in the same breath, about ambition and frustration living side by side. He wasn't pretending the road was easy. He was documenting how hard it was. One moment would test him more than any meeting or performance. In 2002, Kanye was in a serious car accident. His jaw was shattered. His face was wired shut. Doctors told him he would need time to heal, time to rest, time to step away from music. But Kanye did the opposite. He turned the accident into a statement. Unable to speak clearly, he recorded a song anyway. A song about survival, about pain, about refusing to stop moving forward even when his body was broken. That song became a symbol of who he was. Not just a producer trying to rap, but an artist who turned real life into music. Even with that moment, the doors didn't swing open overnight. Some people were impressed, others still weren't convinced. The meetings continued, the rejections continued, but something had changed. People were starting to talk, not just about his beats, but about his story, about his determination, about how he kept pushing even when the system didn't seem built for him. Kanye began to realize that the very things people said were his weaknesses were becoming his strength, his honesty, his emotion, his refusal to sound like everyone else. He wasn't trying to fit into hip-hop. He was trying to stretch it. Still, every step forward felt heavy. For every person who believed in him, there were many who didn't. And that imbalance weighed on him. He would walk into rooms carrying both confidence and doubt, believing deeply in his vision, while knowing the world might not accept it. This was the hardest part of his journey, not the lack of money, not the lack of connections, but the feeling of being seen and still not being recognized for who he truly was. Yet through all of it, Kanye kept building, kept refining his sound, kept shaping his voice. He was preparing for a moment he couldn't fully see yet, a moment when the door wouldn't just open a little, but wide enough for him to walk through on his own terms. By the end of this chapter, Kanye West was tired, but he wasn't defeated. He had faced doubt, rejection, and silence, and he was still standing, still creating, still believing. Because deep down, he knew something was coming, a shift, an opportunity that would finally turn all the closed doors into one clear path forward. In the UE, next episode, The Breakthrough Moment, landing major production credits that change his path, we follow Kanye as one connection, one song, and one decision begins to transform him from a voice fighting to be heard into a name the entire industry can no longer ignore.